disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden. And with me, as always, my podcast partners, Joe Hartley and Angel Diaz. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
What's up, big dog?
If this is your first time with us, I want you to know we are members of the Martial Arts Internet Network. On Tuesdays, we got the Inside School with Alex and Jeff. Wednesdays is us, Fists, Kicks, and Flicks with Gene, Joe, and Angel. And every other Thursdays, you got the traditional way with Brett Shumway. For more information, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms. Just look for the Martial Arts Internet Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Fellas, it's showtime. What's going on?
Sir. You know what? It's been a fun week, interesting week. A little busy, but for the most part, had a good time. Saturday went to Motor City Comic Con. Always a good time. Getting there.
I saw there was people there.
Man, so
people there.
The Cobra Kai booth, they were right all in a row. Martin Cove, Billy Zabka, and Ralph Macchio. They were all right in a row, and they were backed up, just completely backed up the whole day. Like, I got there, I would walk by and I'd be like, just see what's going on. And then, so this is what they do. I didn't realize they did this. So they do all the individual, and then after their time there, they take them over, and you can get like group shots with all three.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what that costs, because I think all of them just individual were like $100 or more.
So, Zolo was there though, right?
No, he canceled.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, he canceled at the end. When I started looking it up online Friday, he canceled Thursday or Friday. So yeah, he didn't. I didn't see him, but I forgot Martin Cove was there. So when I saw him, I was like, man.
See, when I met them, I didn't pay that when I met them.
Really?
I paid I paid like $20.
Yeah, this is probably before Cobra Kai though.
No, it wasn't.
Really?
It was no. I met William Zabka. I met him in 2019. I think I would have to look at the picture, but it was during Cobra Kai because we talked about Cobra Kai.
Very cool.
So yeah, so it was at that time. Now I met Martin Cove before Cobra Kai, but William Zabka, I met him just a couple years ago when he was when he was there.
And you didn't want to meet Ralph Macchio?
He wasn't there when I met him. But
was it Joe or was it Gene that tagged me in that this week?
Probably
about
me.
what?
We all know that he deserved it.
Oh, that I tagged both y'all because that
shit was funny as hell. When I tell you, I started dying because when I saw it, I started dying because a part of me was like, yo. Not gonna lie, that picture made me be like, if only we could have known back then. We could have, little punk ass would have been doing all this crazy stuff. If only we would have known.
Listen, I do want to get an interview with them because there are a few things. Like, so I don't know if you guys watched How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
I've seen episodes.
Yeah, I've seen episodes. I haven't watched it though. Like,
So there's a character on there, and he kind of started the whole. To me, he got Cobra Kai kind of off the ground because he made this statement that Daniel was the not the hero of the movie, that Johnny was, and he said that this nerdy kid beat Johnny, the champion, with an illegal kick, and he was calling Daniel a bully, just like and then it sparked a YouTube thing where people started pointing out more of how Daniel was in the wrong and Johnny was just taking care of his business. And to me, I want to know how much of that sparked the whole idea of Cobra Kai. It might not have. They might have had it in the work, but I just wonder if any of that played a part in it, because I never thought that way until watching that show. And then, like I said, here I am on YouTube, and I'm starting to get all these different things. And this, you can, of course, on YouTube go down a rabbit hole.
The rabbit hole. Go down
Yeah,
a rabbit hole.
I've always thought that way. Me and Travis have had that talk since the 80s. We've had that talk.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'll be honest with y'all. Y'all really like shattered my childhood when y'all told me that. I was like, when I first got on the show, I was like, nah, there ain't no way. Then you guys said it, and now I'm like, I really don't even like them anymore. I don't even.
But
you know what's crazy? When I was when Century sent me my own box, I think I remember I showed you guys. They said, which one do you want? I'm Eagle Fang now. I'm not even like Miyagi Do. Like I'm Eagle Fang. Yeah. Like,
but here's my thing. There's not too many movies or shows or movies that become shows where you get to see both sides. So every time there's a good guy and a bad guy, you watch something and you say, you relate to both characters, but most of the time we want to see the good guy come out on top. But now what Cobra Kai has done, they've shown us a whole nother side of Johnny, where Johnny was more misunderstood than just a bad dude. He wasn't always a bully. When you see both sides of the coin, it really makes you think. And that's what I've always liked about Cobra Kai, and would like about there's so many other TV shows or movies that could do that. Show us the other side. Why is this person acting this way? Why, not everyone is just a bad guy just because, I woke up one day and decided to be an asshole. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think how Cobra Kai, like the karate team was put together in the Karate Kid movie, we never really saw them bully. I mean, they weren't treated like, okay, if you look at the next Karate Kid, and what was that group of those kids that were in that school? I don't remember the name of that team. The bad guys, whatever the name. Like, they were bullies throughout the whole school. They kind of seemed like bullies, and they were just doing dumb stuff. The Cobra Kai kids really weren't bullying anybody else in the school. They just had a problem with Daniel, So it was kind of easy for them to write the Cobra Kai series based on that, because we never really saw them bullying or bothering anybody else in that first movie. And then we don't see them in the second movie. Well, we do see them at the end of the beginning of the second movie, and they are like, they're being abused by Kreese. So we have sympathy for them in that second movie. So it was kind of easy to write Cobra Kai based on those two things, I think.
Well, not only that, but you see, like, Johnny's trying to help someone out.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to help someone getting bullied, but he's also going to do it the Johnny way. Like, he doesn't care that he's like, oh, you're being bullied. Okay, suck it up, princess, and get out there and show them why you shouldn't be bullied. You can't just take that crap. And, just because that was Daniel's problem, Daniel had a problem with Cobra Kai and Johnny because Johnny was bringing it back. But to me, Cobra Kai wasn't the problem at the time, because he was thinking old Cobra Kai. Johnny was just trying to help somebody out and work on his own life. And that's the part I like about the whole thing. But let's not make this a Cobra Kai show. Anyhow, I had a good time over there. We saw so many different people. My daughter was dressed like a character from Demon Slayer, and everybody was getting pictures with her. We got to see a lot of so many things you can buy. Like, don't go. You could don't bring your whole wallet, because you could spend all your money at that doggone place.
It's crazy, bro.
Crazy. I really haven't gone since COVID to any of the comic conventions or anything, and I used to go to a few of them a year. But as a creator myself, when I go to those different things, I like to talk to the artists. I don't really do the celebrity thing too much. I saw a couple years ago. Matter of fact, the day I think the time that I met Johnny Williams Zapka, Angel, your boy was there. Michael John White. Yeah, he was there, and nobody was at his booth. He was by himself. I could have easily just walked up and talked to him, and and got a little interview with him or whatever. But I didn't really think of him or look at him like that, like as a martial artist. It just wasn't in my head. I was looking at him more so as an actor. And when I go there, I a lot of times I talk to artists, and then I go to the panels and I ask a lot of questions and get ideas and get feedback for the things that I'm doing. And I pass out different stuff. That's why I gave William Zabka a jump kick shirt and some of these other people that were there that are more so known for martial arts back then. And I think really like now, like Michael Jai White really does a lot and talks about martial arts so much more now than he did back in the day, at least for me.
Yeah.
Well, that's because he was, there was a point in transition where he was trying to transition out of the martial arts superstar role. Remember, he started doing more Tyler Perry movies. He was really trying to transition out of that because he always says like he doesn't want to be boxed into that category. But I think now he's found that is his niche. And also on top of it, man, like I think he now knows like he's damn good at it and he could write his own stories and he could direct and produce, and he has enough experience where he could now do it the way he wants it. And I think he also has like that old school flair. There's something about Michael Jai White's movies that he tries to give it that old school 80s type feel. The one I might see him in a few weeks at Tony Young's tournament because he usually goes to Tony Young's tournament. So
Okay.
because Atlanta has the production studios and all that stuff down there. So I might see him down there. But yeah, I agree with you. When I go, you know what, man? You know what kills me every time, and we do this every time? There's always that tournament I go to in May that there's always the guys from Cobra Kai there, and I always never get a chance to talk to them. I don't know why. I never get a chance to talk to them. And it aggravates me because I met Vidal, which was the guy from the first one. Yeah, and then I met the guy Tung Po. I met Tung Po the second time, and then I met the guy from Karate Kid 3, the Mike Barnes. So I met all three of them, and I've always never get a chance to talk to them. So I agree with you. The Comic-Cons, I like going to those though. Honestly, I love going to Comic-Cons. Joe, you hit the nail on the head. If you got a wallet, you might spend it. I almost lose all my money when I go to Hobby Lobby or Ross. If you guys got Ross, because they got all the superhero stuff, and I get lost. I mean, the back of my room, as you guys see, I put all my stuff back there. I get lost in it. I'll spend easily $200. Like it's nothing. Terrible.
How's your week been, Angel?
My week's been chill, man. Ain't nothing. I just been chilling, so I really ain't got much. Yeah, so I'm just chilling.
Getting ready for how much time you get off for Thanksgiving? A couple days?
I got Wednesdays a half day, Thursday off, Friday off, and then we back to work on Monday. So I mean, it's not that bad. Wifey's gonna come down for Thanksgiving. She's gonna be here for about like a week, so that'll be fun. I can't wait for that.
That's nice,
I already told her she ain't got no choice. We gotta do a fix, kicks, and flicks with the ladies night, and she ain't got no choice.
Well, she's gonna be real happy for that.
What happened?
You know, my wife was fine with it too, but you know what she told me? Why is it gotta be on Valentine's Day?
Oh my God.
Listen, that's what I deal with all the time, man. Like,
hey, that's funny.
You gotta bring the girls on for Valentine's Day. I'm like, yeah, why not?
Good thing we didn't have our Silver Surfer talk. That would have gone well.
Right. Yeah, we wouldn't even be able to get to the podcast.
Hell no. What about you, Gene? How's your week been?
Busy.
Yeah.
Busy.
And then this week coming up is going to be busy now, right?
No, well, next week or this week, right? We're in right now. Like
no. Next week. When do you leave? I thought you leave next week, right? Or no?
Where am I going?
Oh, was it December?
Man, don't scare me, man. I thought I messed up my schedule. What the hell am I going?
Well, for the people, you guys need to go back and watch this on YouTube. He honestly got scared for a second. Like, that wasn't him making a joke. That was him asking me seriously, where am I going?
I looked up, my calendar. I looked up at my calendar like, damn, am I supposed to go somewhere? Where the hell am I going?
I thought it's December. I think you said you're going to Indiana.
Back to Indianapolis. Yeah. I gotta go back. I gotta go back to Indianapolis, and I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about that. I'm almost at the point now where I think I might just have to do the Zoom. I think I might do Zoom on Mondays and Wednesday. And what I'm gonna do is, I think, Joe, I'm gonna ask Steve to teach jujitsu on Tuesday and Thursday for that week that I'm gone. and then you'll be there on that Friday, and then
Yeah.
Steve will be there on that Friday also. But I know that my Tuesday and Thursday classes, they don't like doing Zoom, and that's my advanced class now, because when we're on Zoom, all we doing are combinations for fight for
Yeah.
tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
So they're now green belts, blue belts, red belts. They're like, come on, Mr. Plow, we we rather not even do half class than do this,
Yeah,
So
no,
now
I get that.
the white belts and gold belts and purple belts, they're okay with it. But the advanced class, the intermediate and advanced students, they're kind of over Zoom now. And we've been doing it since, for 3 years now. So I think I'm just gonna have them do jujitsu while I'm away, and then I'll work with the other kids on but yeah, I got a couple weeks before I do that. But other than that, man, this week, man, I'm at the end of the blitz for work, and my manager is in town now, and we're gonna ride up to Saginaw and Flint tomorrow to go make some store visits, and then try and find some new business, some new prospects up there, and then get back down here. Then I got to go to Toledo on Thursday, do the same thing. So this I get to rest after this week, and I get to finally.
Where's Toledo at?
Toledo is about an hour away from here, for me.
Okay.
Detroit, an hour south.
Okay.
So I'll run down there, check on my stores down there, and then get back. Yeah, I told him, I was like, coming back, I want to pass the airport, so we're gonna go down there to Thursday, do our visits, and on our way back, I'm just gonna stop at the airport, drop him off at the airport, and then hopefully make it in time to get to the school for fighting, because we have our sparring nights are on Thursdays, so I get a bigger turnout on Thursdays than instead of having classes on Fridays, sparring on Fridays.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. Fridays are Joe's class and Steve's class, bow and jujitsu. So the kids that want to participate in those, they come to those. So, but I got a feeling those classes are going to start picking up even more pretty soon. Yeah, and you know what I did on Sunday, Joe? So I had the pretest for my third degree red belts. I had their pretest to see if they're ready to test for their black belts, because I wanted to check their level to see how they're doing, because I had some of the girls that are doing cheerleading. I had some that are doing soccer and softball, and I didn't know how ready these kids were going to be to test for their black belts. I just wanted to check, see if, how they were, and they impressed the hell out of me on Sunday. I had them in there for 2 hours from 11 to 1, and they rose to the occasion, man. They rose to the occasion. Like I was super proud of them. They're ready. There are a couple things. That they need to do work on. Because I told them they have to create 10 1-steps, and then they also have to do their create their form application. Angel, do you guys do form application? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say that?
Yeah. Bunkai. That's what we call it.
Bunkai.
Yeah, so bunkai is it's honestly what you said. It's just the form applications of just having to just show like the downward block to the punch. What did you do? Why? Whatever.
Yeah. So basically, So basically, they'll pick a form. I told each one of them to pick a form, and then they'll have their teammates, surround them, and they're doing the form while defending themselves. So basic form number 1. But I told them they can't use base form number 1. It has to be an advanced form. So they'll turn to the left. They'll tell somebody to do a front snap kick. They'll block and they'll step and punch. So eventually they have to practice that, and then they have to do it without even saying anything to each other.
I was just about to say, you have them do it without saying it, right?
Yeah. So now that all of them are finally all back together, it's been months they haven't been all in class together. So now that all the other activities are done, now they have to work together to get that done. So that's
cool.
the
I like that.
Now that's the only hold up. They already have their combinations. They know all their 1-steps. They know all their forms. They know all their basics. So they got to get their form application done, and they got to do their creative 1-steps, and then I can have the test. So hopefully, I'm hoping I can. If I can't get it done in December, which I probably can't, then I'm going to do it at the beginning of the year, January, because I don't want them to go in the next.
That's not bad.
I don't want them to go into the next tournament season still third degree red belts, especially for Arctic Challenge. They've been in that red belt division for long enough now. So it's time to bump them up to the junior black belt division. So hopefully we can get it done.
I agree. That'll be good, man.
All right, let's talk about the movie Jet Li's Fearless. Let's get into it. Let's go.
So I brought up the Go ahead. What's up?
I was just I have some interesting views. Before we start, I just want to set this as like a premise, and then you guys tell me by the end what you guys thought. I got Ip Man 4 type vibes from this.
I felt the same.
You guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I just want to say that right from the jump. That's what I got when I was watching it. Then we can go ahead and get into it. But I just want to see if we all like connected on that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the synopsis online says, after a terrible tragedy, a martial artist, Jet Li, retreats to a remote village to gain a new appreciation for the important things in life. But when he returns to the city to reconcile his past with the present, he gets caught up in a duel to the death defending China's honor. So, I mean, that is, there's a lot more that kind of happens in there that they fill in. But that's the basic idea. And this is kind of giving us, where you said Ip Man, this is kind of, it says very loosely based on a true story, because I guess the character that Jet Li is playing.
When this says very loosely based, it means that there was a man. It means that there was a man in China who lived there and did kung fu.
Right?
That's all that it means. After that, everything else is their own interpretation.
It's they call him Ho Yuan. So
I'm glad
that's how you say his name. I did not know how to say his name.
Okay, so this is why
I
we
heard
didn't
it
know.
a bunch of times when he says it. So that's
so this movie was subtitled, and Joe, you gave me a warning that it was subtitled, but for whatever reason in my head, when you were saying subtitle, I was thinking dub. So yeah, exactly.
I wish I could find a dubbed version, because I've watched it so many times. Because the first few times I watched it, I only watched it and barely read it because I wanted there's so much good fighting in this. But then I actually kept watching it a few more times to get the story. And it's a very interesting story. I mean, there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot of drama that happens, and makes you really wonder, the Asian culture has some interesting traditions. This is early 1900s. This is like 1910, 1909. And everything's very traditional. And I guess, they're still talking like wushu clans is what they were referring to these houses, and Jet Li's character was the Hao clan. And the movie starts off, he's in a boat, he's very disheveled. This is obviously after the tragedy that I just read about, which you do learn about later, because they kind of go to his childhood and all the way to how he got to where he's at.
Yeah, see, I did not see. This is why I had to watch this movie again, because how they put together the movie confused me. So what you're saying, Joe, when it started off, we see him, we actually are watching the end of the movie at the beginning of the movie.
Not necessarily, because
yeah, we are. We don't know that though.
But it's the middle.
It is the end.
It's the end. When he was fighting, because it started off when he was fighting. He was going through, because he had to fight 4 people.
Oh, yeah.
So they
show him at a tournament, but then they show him on a boat going to the other island after what happened with the quote unquote tragedy we're gonna get to.
And then they go back even further and show him. Well, I don't think I saw the same. Did you watch the same version on YouTube?
It jumps around. You know what? I think I watched the director's cut, so mine might.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't see that part.
They still jump around. They still jump around. Yeah, so they show there's a Wushu Federation talking, and then they show him on a boat, and then they show. This is my version. Then they show. They show him at the tournament. Then they show him on a boat, and then they go back to his childhood.
Yeah, see, that would have confused me even more, because I didn't see that part. Is that what you saw too, Angel?
Yeah, because I watched it on a site.
I saw it on. Okay, so I saw it on YouTube.
I watched it on a site, but same thing as Joe. No different. Because when it started, I'm gonna be honest with you. When it started, okay, hold on. First, let me back up. I have a funny story. It's only gonna take like a minute. I went and saw this movie in the movie theaters when it first came out.
Okay.
Now, my father thought the same thing you thought, Gene. It was dubbed, not subtitled. We got there and it started. We got 10, 15 minutes in. My dad took me out the movie theater. He left. My dad does not watch subtitle movies. He does not do that. He only watches dubbed movies if he has to, but he doesn't even like watching dubbed movies. He only likes watching them like, I don't know how to explain it, but just he doesn't like watching dubbed movies, right? So I remember watching this before. Then I watched it again when I was younger. I had my different views. I'll talk about it later. So when I started watching this, I kind of had what you thought, Gene. I was watching it. I said, what the hell? Am I watching the wrong movie? Because when it started off with the Wushu Federation, Joe, it looked like it was like current. Like it was like in present time. It didn't look like it was back then. So I was like, am I even watching the right? Because it looked too, like, you know what I'm trying to say, Joe. Like, it did not look like the time period that this took place. It didn't look like it matched it with the Wushu.
I don't think it was
the Wushu
honestly,
Federation.
I don't know why they had it because it was unnecessary.
Okay, so
did you?
This part that you guys are talking about, I didn't see none of that. In the version that I saw, it started off him fighting in the tournament, right?
Yeah.
And then
I didn't see that.
I see him fighting the three guys that he's supposed to fight before he fights the final guy. He's fighting those three guys, and then the final guy is walking up, and then we just see him look at that guy, and then we zoom in close to his eye, and then the next thing I see are two guys fighting, which is his dad, which I didn't know at first. We see his dad fighting, and we see him as a little kid. I just thought these were just other people. I was like, what the hell? What happened? What happened to the fight? You know? I honestly thought that this might have been the same people. I was like, maybe I'm looking at the same people from a different angle. I didn't know what was going on. So I got confused a lot in the beginning.
They go back to his childhood to show his upbringing. And basically the upbringing was he was a little kid with asthma who was brought up into a famous Wushu clan, and his father, he had something. I think they called it the hard hand, or basically he hits with
because he was hitting like a palm heel strike.
Yeah, and he was hitting it and breaking bricks, and he's super proud of his dad. He watches him when he's not supposed to, but his dad won't teach him Wushu. So that's the problem. And his dad's winning all these fights. And like I said, this is the part that gets me. These traditions with these fights, they set these fights up with one clan versus the other, and you sign a death warrant, like a waiver, like a death waiver at the beginning, in case you get killed. So, like, you could fight, and there's a possibility you're going to die. I think that's crazy.
You know what I want to know?
That's no different than boxing, bro. What the hell are you talking about? It's no different than MMA. Ain't no different.
You know, when you don't go in those things actually thinking you're going to die.
Yeah.
You don't think that. I mean, we signed waivers for things, but that's... Yeah, you're not thinking that's going to happen.
Like some of these, they're saying if you want to kill them, you can. And that's the problem, because the dad is getting the better of his opponent. And Jet Li's character is mouthing off to the other dad's character, and they're both saying my kung fu's better. It's that's how kung fu movies work. Everybody thinks their kung fu's better. His dad goes to win the fight, and he won't finish the guy off because he knows how powerful it is and loses the fight. Go ahead.
This is what I want to know, and I don't know if either one of you guys know this, because this is the second time I've seen this type of thing in these kung fu type movies, right? What is the significance of Chinese people practicing their calligraphy? We saw this in another movie, another one of Jet Li's movie. What was the other movie we saw?
Hero.
When he was Hero. Yeah. Do you guys know of what's that all about? Practicing the calligraphy?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't even want to speculate because I actually have no idea.
I'm gonna ask Melissa. She might know.
I believe it has to do. I believe the brush strokes are similar to the movement of their hands
and Wushu.
And Wushu.
That makes a lot. I've heard that before, and it makes sense. I'm not gonna lie, it makes sense when you look at what Wushu is. It does make sense
because it teaches muscle memory. It teaches the movements, because there's so many different movements, and I believe that it has to do with that, but I'm not 100% sure.
Because I think that did the dad tell him to do that once or twice? I think he told him to do it twice to go practice his calligraphy.
He wanted him to do his studies, but he also gave it to him as a punishment for fighting.
Yeah, he gave it to him as a punishment.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he did have to do it twice. Okay.
He went and fought the kid, by the way, without any training, and the other kid was bigger than him and had at least some training. He just ran at my man. Like, that's not wushu. He ran at my dude and just got punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
It's lucky he didn't get killed. Anyhow, when they do show him at the beginning before he's watching his dad, supposedly doing his studies, but what he does is he pushes it off on his buddy, and his buddy does it. So his buddy does his homework and his own homework, and but I mean, you'll see throughout the movie, for the most part, like he's just taking advantage of his friend pretty much the whole time until towards the end when he realizes like the worth of friendship. But anyhow,
that's right. He does do it twice because the first time he did it, he was sitting by himself, and then their butler came next to him and was saying something
yeah,
to him about it, and then later on we saw him again another day, and then his friend was doing. You're right, Joe. Yeah. So
I thought that was his mom.
the
no,
butler,
because
the
the mom
guy,
came. Yeah, the mom came in also because like he kind of
okay,
snapped at the
okay.
butler. He
the
kind of
mom
snapped.
saved him from getting a whooping. He was getting
Yeah,
ready to get a whooping. He
yeah.
told the guy to get the stick,
What
but
was
the
his name?
mom came in.
Lay, something like that.
Yeah. So but the other crazy thing is, so I was wondering, because he does actually somehow get good at wushu without his dad's help. But then they show you he took the dad had the teachings written down, and so he got his buddy to copy him. Which he
Okay.
said, if my dad finds out, like I'm gonna be in big trouble, so hurry up and do it. So I guess look. Did you ever see these things where like learning from the TV or learning from a book? Like to me, that's always been crazy because I read karate books and I didn't learn much from them as far as like I'm not gonna learn the application of something unless I'm being taught in person.
Yeah,
That's just
Daniel.
me.
Daniel couldn't learn from the book either. That's why he had to get Mr. Miyagi. We
I
saw
think
how that worked for him.
I'm not even joking when I say this. I think I've heard Jeff Doss say this before, but he was at one point he was getting taught karate through a house phone.
How?
How? Yeah,
Bro, I
exactly. How?
Oh, I need that story.
I
I need
swear
that
to
story.
God, I swear to God, he said that. I swear to you. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well,
I
we're
think
gonna know the story because Jeff
we are
will hear
because
this tomorrow.
he's gonna hear this. And, his little
Oh,
ears are
yeah.
gonna perk up, and he's gonna have to respond to us. But not Jeff, for real though, Jeff. Like shed light on this story because I know you and I have talked about it
I
before.
just
So
can't
definitely
imagine
shed light
like
on it.
Jeff messing
I
up and the
swear to
person
you.
on the other end of the phone like, no, I told you to turn left, not right. You know, like how
Oh, I definitely want to
bring
hear
the
this
back
story. I
end
want to
up,
hear this
not the
story.
front hand.
So he proclaims after losing that fight, he proclaims that he's never going to lose a fight again, and they do show him after being uh, reprimanded by his dad and going back to his studies. They show him fighting that kid again and actually beating him, and then they go right from there into his adult life.
I don't think I saw that part either, but okay.
Really?
Yeah, they go right back into his adult life. You didn't see nothing, bro. What did you see?
I saw it on YouTube, but I definitely didn't. I mean, Joe just said he
There's
saw the
probably
director's cut, so
there's probably different versions out there. You just saw a version that had some different scenes, but
like when Joe watched a different version of No Retreat, No Surrender.
yeah, right, right.
Yep. So he goes from beating this kid into his adult life. He's with his daughter. He's with his mom. I guess his dad has passed, which they haven't really said what happened with the dad, but the dad's not there.
Wait a minute, wait, hold on, Joe.
Yeah.
Now you are right. I do remember him beating the guy again, but when I saw them fight, they were adults. They weren't kids. You saw him beat him as a kid?
Yeah,
No.
they showed him.
I saw him beating him as an adult. Remember when he ran up those little
Yeah.
sticks or whatever, and then they were on a platform. They were adults when they fought that time. I didn't see him beat him as a kid and then beat him again as an adult. I missed that. I
Yeah,
just know the last part.
So they're 1-1, and this is the rubber match, the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's talking with his daughter, and he's showing off all his daughter and him are looking at all his wins. So he's
Okay.
like kind of taking over where his dad left off. He's got all these wins. He's real cocky. He likes to drink, and he has all these disciples. But you kind of learn later that disciples should be put in quotation marks. and his daughter is rooting for him. She's telling him, "Oh, I got a prize for you after your fight, and this is the fight." They signed the waiver, and then of course, to be dramatic, we got to go up this big ramp that's what 100 feet tall.
Yeah,
And
I
he's
wouldn't
got
have
to
went up there.
climb.
That whole thing was stupid.
Right?
That whole thing was stupid.
This
But
is
John,
kung fu movies, okay? This is what you're gonna get in a kung fu movie.
well, I don't mind that him running up there. I didn't like that they were fighting up there because I was
I didn't
slow.
like it either.
I just didn't. I was just like this is ridiculous. Like why would they fight
Listen,
like
the
all
fight
all
for me was
100 feet in
fine.
the air? Like that
The
didn't make
fight
any
for me was
sense.
fine. The end was the part that I had a problem with.
I had a problem with that too. But go back to the disciples real quick, Joe. I wanted to ask you, because it seemed like the dad and then him also. It seemed like they were kind of wealthy. Now, were these disciples were they his students that were actually paying him money to be their
That's the
instructor, or were they were
problem.
just followers?
That both they were supposed to be both, but he
Okay.
liked see where his dad didn't want the fame. I mean, his dad just wanted to do wushu, and he wanted to show that his wushu was superior, but he didn't want to hurt anybody bad enough like he knew he could. That's why he lost that one fight.
Hmm.
And then he didn't want the fame. He didn't want he just wanted to be left alone and show off it and hone his skills.
Yeah,
And
I was
then
just kind of confused, curious about how are they getting paid? Like because they looked wealthy. Like that reminded me of Ipman's house that he
yes,
had. You know,
yeah, they never really did say what his actual job or how they
right?
made their money.
Because eventually he leaves, and he should have lost everything. When he comes back, the house is still there. The butler is still there for some reason, and you got money to pay a butler. So
Well,
where's this money
they
coming from?
said they said what happened with that because they said the
No, I
creditors
know
didn't
that,
come. Yeah.
but the butler had no reason. Like, I know we kind of jumping ahead, but if when he left, why the hell is the butler still hanging around there?
You
He
know,
at that point you have no job, buddy. You got to get
when
out there
you
and work.
when you watch these movies, when you watch all these historical um type of movies and you see quote unquote servants or slaves, a lot of times they become a part of the family and they don't know what to do without that in their life. So they kind of, they almost, I mean, I was watching, I can't even remember what it was. And like one of the servants who was a slave, oh, it was Spartacus, kills himself after his master was killed. And I'm like, dude, your master is dead. You're free. Leave. But you kill yourself instead? That's crazy to me. But I
Yeah.
mean, I guess if that's your whole life and your whole life just ended, you know. Uh, during this fight, this was a pretty good fight. This guy, he has these different stances. His quote unquote rival, um, where one he's like trying to. He says, my legs are like a mountain, so he takes out his legs, and so now that his legs are having trouble, now he's gonna use his tiger claw, and saying he's calling out his tiger claw, and just to be cocky, Howe is calling it a cat's paw.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a huge diss. When I'm saying I'm a tiger and you're just telling me it's a cat's paw,
I mean, yeah, definitely.
it was pretty funny. But he does defeat him, and this is the part I really don't care for. He kicks him off the platform. He should die, but
Yeah.
somehow I mean, the guy just gets up and walks away.
Yeah, he didn't act like he was hurt at all. He landed face first,
His
face,
pride was
neck,
hurt.
and chest first.
Yeah, he should have at least broke an arm or something. But he's
He should have
yeah,
broke everything. he
he
should have.
really should have.
He should have been dead,
He really that's the part that
Yeah.
killed. Like I was
and
like,
he
come
just
on,
got
man.
right back up.
He
Like it
did. He
was
got back
nothing.
up. We see so every time he wins a fight, apparently he goes to his favorite restaurant, and then it's owned by his childhood friend. The problem is he acts like he owns the place, and he's got a bill stacked up to the ceiling, and apparently he hasn't paid it. And this is where I said he has these quote unquote disciples, But all they do is they come, they bow, he gets them to drink with them, and then he's supposed to teach them. But none of them are paying. They're just following him around. He just likes the attention. And there is a point where his friend does tell him, like, you really need to start worrying about the type of people you're hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are not your friends. These are moochers. You know, they want to live off your reputation and party with you. You know, once the drinks and the food runs out, they're probably all going to be gone. You know, and he doesn't realize that because he's like, nah, don't worry about it.
Well, you know
And
what? I do remember something. He was getting paid from these fights.
yeah,
Maybe he was getting a good amount of money.
but his the one servant tells him later, like, the money's leaving as fast as it's coming. So
Yeah.
like, you got to figure something out here. And that doesn't shock me. He doesn't seem like someone who wants to hold on to his, you know, he seems like he just wants to spend everything that he gets because he's just very cocky, and he's young, man. He doesn't know. So this next fight that he has, apparently he's got like a bunch of people signed a waiver to fight him. And he fights one guy, then he fights 2 and 3, and he says, you know, this is taking too long. Just everyone who signed a waiver, come on, let's go. That's crazy. I don't care who you are. You're not taking on 25 people at once.
I don't know if I remember that part or not, but okay.
Oh yeah, he's got them all. Because the other thing that we didn't talk about, I mean, it's not important, but it's funny. There's a guy like the town drunk, and every time he sees Hao, he says,
"Today's the day."
Yep. When are you going to be the champion of wherever it is that they are?
Tangent.
Yeah. Tangent. And he says, I don't know. Maybe today's the day. And that guy, of course, is right there after he beats all these guys.
Right.
And he just whips all these guys, and then he drinks his tea and goes about his day. And we're kind of seeing he loves his daughter, but he's not really the best father. Because he basically spends all his day fighting and then the whole night drinking. And then she's always waiting up for him, wanting to know when he's going to come home. And they just say, oh, you know, your dad's busy. But, you know, the mom died. They didn't really talk about that. And, you know, yeah, he's not dead.
No, they kind of just brushed over. They did kind of just brush over that, didn't they?
Well, yeah, they just said she died, and his mom said he needs to marry because his daughter needs a mother.
Yeah, that just kind of just brushed over it. Like, they didn't say what happened. They just say with the dad, and you would have thought they would have explained what happened to the dad also, since he was an important figure in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I would have liked to know about that, to be honest. I'm right there with you on that one. So someone, he's talking about how he's the best, and someone points out that he hasn't beaten one of the grandmasters, and they kind of have a little tiff with each other, pushing caskets back and forth, which I thought was, I don't know why that was a thing, but I don't think that this guy has any intention on fighting him.
No, it didn't seem like it.
It seems beneath him, and he's basically saying, like, I'm not going to be the champion unless I beat this guy. So he's trying to egg him on into a fight, and what happens is his disciples come to him all beat up, and it was him who did it. So that's his reason. But the problem is, he really didn't ask too many questions of why they got beat up. They just acting like, oh, he beat us up for fun. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think he wanted that fight, so he just didn't ask any questions, which is going to bite him in the ass later. You guys got anything about that?
No,
I just don't. I think I just didn't like remember, like I said, like, I got Ip Man vibes. The only difference is Ip Man was more humble.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
completely opposite to this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, I just didn't really like that part. I didn't like I just didn't really like that about him. And it's weird because I'm gonna be honest, I think I've never really liked any Jet Li movies where I felt like he was portraying the antagonist in some sort of way. And even like he was portraying it to a certain extent. They were building him up as he is the antagonist in certain aspects. So I just never liked it, and I just personally just didn't care for like how you said, Joe. Like he fought 25 people at once. I was like, what? Like, what are we doing here? Like, and then you're fighting them on like a well, like a little tabletop circle, whatever it is. Like it doesn't even make any sense. Like you're not even. It's not like it's like it's just terrible.
But you can break that down because yes, he is very cocky. He's talented, but he could be more honorable. But the problem is
that's my thing.
He had a father who wouldn't teach him.
Who was too honorable.
Exactly. But his father couldn't teach him that. His father just said, I don't want you in this world. Go to your studies. But it just goes to show you, like, maybe his father should have shown him how to be honorable.
I got a quick question for you guys. How long was the movie that you guys watched? Do you remember?
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, definitely. I did not watch the same movie as you guys because the movie that I saw was an hour and 40 minutes. So there's a lot that I didn't see.
Yeah, you're missing like almost half of a movie right now.
Yeah, I did.
You're missing like half of a movie.
I did not see the same thing. Because you're talking about extra parts, and I'm like, I didn't see that. Yeah, it was an hour and 40 minutes. The movie that I saw.
But you saw this fight, right?
No, I didn't see this fight. And that's why
this is how he ends up. This is the tragedy.
No. I saw this fight with Chin. Yeah, I saw that fight. I thought you were talking about the 25 people. No, because I mean, like I said, like, you know, so there's a lot that in the version that I saw that you guys didn't see. That makes sense now. Okay, gotcha.
Okay,
that's crazy. It said it's an hour and 40 minutes. You literally missed a third of the whole movie. That's crazy.
I think this is what happens when these movies come over from China and Japan. They make 4 different versions of it for in America, and you can watch either one, and it's ridiculous. I wish they would just have one certain movie.
No, I agree with you.
So he sets up the fight. He signs the waiver. He, of course, he gets the other guy to sign the waiver, and they have a fight. And he basically hits him at the end, punches him in the heart. And I mean, if the guy didn't die right there, they said he died 2 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he kind of is like, oh well, that's what he deserves. He goes drinking, and he comes home, and his family, his mom and his daughter have been murdered, and obviously it was the son. And he goes and he talks to. This is the part that kills me because this is supposedly what you're allowed to do. If you kill a family member and it's dishonorable, I just get to kill your family, and now you can get revenge back on me. Because he goes to kill the son, but the son says, "Sorry, mother. Sorry, daughter." Or
he said,
wife.
"Godmother."
Yeah, whatever it was. But he kills himself and is like, "Let this maniac just kill you."
Yeah, I was wondering. I was wondering, did I see that right?
Wild to me.
Did I just see him do that? Like
when I saw that, I was like, "What the?" I was like, "What kind of honor was in that?"
I killed your family, and now I'm not even going to defend my family for your revenge. Like, what the hell? That part,
you know what? He should have said something. He should have said, "Okay, go ahead, be a bitch, kill yourself." Or said something like, "If you kill yourself, there's nobody here to protect them." Something to make him think, like, hold on, because all you needed was just a second, to poke him with the sword or something real quick. Yeah. Say something.
Can I say something, man? Like, Gene, I want you to know, man, like, I'm starting to get to know you so well that as this is coming up, I'm looking at the time and I'm like, 48 minutes, 15 seconds. He's going to say something crazy within this time frame. I just said that to myself. I said, no, say something crazy within this time frame. And then, bam, you say, go ahead, be a bitch then. Kill yourself.
Go ahead, be a bitch. Because then you would have been like, what? I ain't no bitch. That just that little pause. That's right. You could have cut him up real quick.
How did you guys feel about the who was it that he said that got drunk? I didn't know who that was. Who was it that got drunk and it was all their fault?
So it's the guy who got beat up.
Yeah, it was his.
So
that's
after they find out what happened to the family, everybody comes back, and this is where his disciples, or he was even calling them his brothers. They came back. They said so and so insulted his wife, and that's why he got beat up. He was defending the honor of his wife, and of course that's huge because now you just killed someone in a dishonorable manner over your disciple, but you wanted to fight the guy, and now you just got your family killed, and this is because of your shitty disciples who don't have your back and but they also learned everything from you.
I would have killed that disciple.
He should have.
You gotta go,
Honestly, he
buddy.
should have. But at
You
that
gotta
point,
go.
listen, at that point, he was so distraught and over it. Like, he just had to get out of there. And I don't even know. They don't show how he ended up on this boat. He ends up on a boat in a random village somewhere else.
Was it okay? I thought it was me. It just went to the next scene and he's on a boat. I was like, what the hell's going on?
He's
here?
on a boat. He's all disheveled. Who knows how long he's been gone? He ends up in I believe it's a village of like they're growing rice. I believe that's what they're growing.
Yeah, he was gone for some years also because I think the girl said, like, I've known you for years and you've been here for years and I don't even know your name.
Yeah.
What
They
the
were
fuck?
calling him Ox because
Yes.
for the first while they said he was just sleeping all the time like their lazy ass ox. So, but the girl that was taking care of it was her and her grandma, and she was blind.
Moon.
Her name was Moon. I don't know who these kids were. They were whose kids they were or whatever, but they were running
They were
around.
the son's kids.
Yeah,
Did
but
you guys
eventually,
did you guys
go ahead.
understand the part? Did you guys understand the part where they're working I don't know, it looked like to me they were planting plants in mud. I don't know what
That's
they
what I
were
said.
doing.
I thought it was rice, but maybe it
Yo,
was
you're
something
probably
else.
right. I mean, I don't know like how you do, what you do to prepare rice or I don't
Me
know how to
neither. I
prepare
have no
nothing.
freaking clue.
So, so at one point he's doing it with these people, this little village he just wanders into, and then they stop and they like look up at the sun or the wind or something, and they just stand there for a minute and then they continue. And I was like, what are they doing? Like they never explained what the heck that was. And then
Just
eventually he
enjoying
learned to do that too.
yeah, they enjoying the serenity, the peace and quiet, the wind.
But how do they all know to do it at the same time? So anytime the wind blows, they just stop and just
I don't
appreciate it.
know. I don't know, man.
Yeah, okay. All right. I didn't know if your version had the explanation to that. That's why I was asking. Because I was like, what the hell is this? They're just stopping and enjoying the
Yeah.
wind and then get right
Well,
back
the
to
funny
it.
thing is, so he was trying to race them for whatever reason, and
Mm-hmm.
he messed it up, and the moon had to go out and fix it for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he learned really quick, like, let's not do that, and how to do it right and to slow down. He learned a lot here. He learned how to, appreciate life and, kind of reflect on where he went wrong and to try and get things back on track in his life.
I mean, shit. If you didn't, that'd be a hell. Like, if that's a hell of a life learning lesson. If you didn't learn from that, you're fucked. Like, honestly, like, what else could you do?
And
Like,
he seemed to fall in love with Moon. At least one of the kids kind of suggested it, but I mean,
That's
they
what I
didn't
thought.
show. They didn't show it go anywhere because he did have.
Well, I
He did
thought it
end
was.
up.
I thought it was about to go somewhere. When she started touching his face, and then she took her
Yeah.
hands and put her hands down, I was like, "Is she grabbing his noodle? Like, what's going on here?" Because they didn't show nothing else. They just
Listen,
showed them looking
Bro,
at
I
each
can't
other.
with you,
First
man.
off-
I can't with you. I can't
You
with
didn't
you,
think that?
man.
You didn't think
I
that?
can't with you.
No, the
His
first time I
noo-
saw it, I
his
did.
noodle.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. What else
What
is
do
he
you
gonna call it?
Yeah.
What else is he gonna call it? His egg roll?
Yo,
Yeah, I
bro.
wasn't gonna do that one again. I almost got in trouble. Remember? I'm not gonna say that one. I
Yo,
wasn't
let me
gonna
tell
say
you.
that.
Let me tell you something. That has forever been a staple in my relationship. I'm not even joking. Dip your egg roll in her duck
Wait a minute,
sauce.
Angel.
That has
I
forever been
hope you
a
have not
staple.
been saying that to girls. I hope you have been saying
No.
I said I
let
don't
me
mean
take my
say
egg
that
roll
to
out and dip it in your soy sauce. I hope you haven't been saying that.
You
Please,
said
Angel.
duck
Not,
sauce.
not to girls. No, don't start go
Well,
crazy.
the guys, like, what are you saying? Like, what is
What
going
the
on? What are you talking about, Angel?
All
Move
right,
on.
moving
Let's
on.
move on before we really get canceled.
Listen, Gene. What was happening at that part is she knew he was leaving, so she just wanted to feel his face in case he didn't make it back. She
And
Yeah,
wanted to
but
know
then
what
okay,
why
he
didn't
looked
she
like.
kiss him?
I don't know, because she didn't know him like that. I don't freaking know.
But why are you gonna touch a man's face if I miss you? Let me touch your face. That dude kiss me then.
Joe.
Maybe it was later they did all that.
In your version, did they explain what happened to her, why she was blind?
I know
they briefly said something about it, like
no, they didn't
just lost as a
explain that.
kid or
She
something.
just said, she said one day as a kid she just opened her eyes and it started getting cloudy and it got worse and worse.
That's sad. I mean, that's some sad shit right there.
Is that really how it works, honestly, or no?
No idea.
I haven't had conversations with blind people really, so I don't know. Like I haven't really. I don't know. Like some people, something happens like in war, or some people are born with it. But to have it and then lose it, man, that's
my thing. I've usually heard that they were like born with it, or it's from an accident or trauma or
right.
whatever. But I never heard that you could just wake up one day and then you just start losing your vision. I'm sure there's cases out there. I just have never heard of it.
That's scary. That's scary.
That would be very scary. So he goes back home and it's all been the West kind of came in and I don't know if they took over, but they basically are kind of making themselves at home. And everything's different. He's of course the drunk is still running around, but he's getting pushed around a little bit.
And once again, we saw this in Ip Man.
Yeah. Yes. I think it's about the same
time period.
Time period. Mm-hmm. And he goes home, and like you said before, he talks to his butler who's hanging around, and he said the creditors came. I tried to keep things the best I could. Eventually, somebody did pay money, and it was his friend. It was his buddy who owned the restaurant. Made sure to keep the house intact. Apparently, he always hoped that he would come back, but he's not very receptive to him right away. He kind of is mad at him, which is understandable. But he does realize. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, he messed, like, that fight that he had with Chen, like he messed up his restaurant.
Yep.
And he kind of asked them not to mess up his restaurant before they had that fight, and he did anyway.
But he said,
they tore it up.
The funny thing, I forgot about that. He said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll pay for it, bro. You got a debt already, and you haven't paid it. You just talked to your treasurer. He said there's nothing left, and you're saying, "Oh, don't worry, I'll pay." What are you going to pay with?
Yeah, exactly. And they
messed
up that restaurant.
Yeah, you're going to beat this man down and then go rob him? Like what? That was messy. But anyhow, so they do get to talking, and actually, the first thing he does, he actually goes to Chen's house and apologizes to the wife and the daughter, and kind of reconciles that whole situation. He pays homage to the dad. They have a ceremonial picture and some, they light some incense. So he does that first, and then he goes and talks to his friend, and they kind of have, I don't really want to say it like an argument or disagreement, but the friend does realize like he's kind of changed a little bit. He's become humble. He's not the same idiot who left. So he tends to forgive him, and they kind of start talking about what's next. And the idea is that the West and Japan are basically saying they have the best fighters and China's weak. China's terrible.
Okay, so in my version that I saw, that did not happen. What happened was when he went to go see his friend, like his friend was kind of standoffish and still pissed off at him.
Yeah.
And he had a newspaper. He asked him for some money, and his friend was like, "This is not for a fight."
That's what happened.
Okay, and he said, "Yeah, it's for a fight. I got to go to Shanghai." And he was like, "No, I'm not giving you any money to go fight or whatever." And then he kind of just left his newspaper and just left. The newspaper had a fight because that American guy was saying that he was better than any other Chinese fighter. And then that's when, after he left, that's when the guy saw it, and then he
realized
he wanted him to go fight.
He's trying to defend the honor of China.
Right.
And of course, how do you got to do that? I don't know, against a guy named Hercules. Who is that dude? Like, I looked this guy up. I don't think he's this big, but I think that played with the camera a little bit because they made him look bigger.
Yeah, he looked like a wrestler. He looked like a wrestler.
He is a big guy, but he's not like the way they. This dude looked like Kane.
Yeah, he was huge.
And so they put him in like a boxing ring, and he's gonna fight, and they try to do the death waiver, and it's at this point, like I said, where his character's kind of evolved. He doesn't want to kill him. He tells them, "This is an old tradition. Why can't we just have a good, clean competition where nobody has to die?" And the other guy goes and says, the judge takes that and tells Big Hercules, he doesn't want to kill you. He just wants to kick your ass. I thought that was funny. Like, how are you going to tell this big guy this little dude wants to kick your butt?
Right.
He doesn't want to kill you and make you look bad. He just wants to make you look stupid.
So that was the name that you guys saw, was Hercules for this guy?
I looked it up. It says Hercules something.
Okay, so the name I saw was O'Brien, and that's what the people kept on saying was O'Brien.
Hercules O'Brien.
Okay.
That's what they never said Hercules in the thing, but
when you
look it up,
okay.
Yeah, when you look it up, it says Hercules O'Brien.
Gotcha.
So of course he's all brute force, and Jet Li's character definitely handles this like Ip Man. He's going to use his speed. He's going to hit, joint locks, legs, arms, anything he can to use his advantage. And he gets the upper hand. And he basically wins the fight, but this guy, Hercules can't deal with that. And he goes after him when his back is turned. And then he kicks him. And during the fight, the ring got crushed and a bunch of nails were sticking out. And when he threw him, he went over the ring and he was going to hit the nails and basically die because his whole head was going to get caved in.
Yeah.
And Hao puts his foot out and catches him right at the last second, and now all of a sudden this guy's like, "Oh, okay, I guess we can be friends now." After you saved my life, but he would have killed him in a second.
Yeah. That was a strange ending to a fight. He pretty much just said, "Oh, you know what? Let's stop this. You saved my life. Let's be friends. I'm done."
Okay, so the people who are kind of sanctioning all this, who are they exactly, in your opinion? I was trying to figure, like,
they never explained or never said, and I mean, because
in your version it didn't.
Yeah,
Joe, we could think it's for us. We could think it's the people from the beginning.
No, but I think it's some kind of federation.
Yeah, it said the something Wushu Federation, Juto Wushu Federation. Something like that.
Why does so they're from Japan, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's basically Japan, but why does Japan got a big white guy named Hercules fighting for them?
I don't think they had them. I think they were just in the audience. I think they were just in the audience. I don't know.
But they had money. They had money for Hercules to beat.
I think they were just betting on. I think they were just betting on.
Okay.
Him.
Okay, that's where it got me
stumped there.
That's where it got me messed up. The next part makes sense, but that part didn't make sense to me. Why they care about this big Westerner, but it's because
they should have had, in my opinion, they should have had this sprinkled in throughout the rest of the movie. Like we should have been seeing these guys. Like they should have had a story, a B story, and they could have been them this whole time. And they could have been putting in stuff, leaving us breadcrumbs, seeing that these guys want to take over China, that they want to promote these other fighters, because this all kind of happened at the end. This is like us seeing who the bad guys were at the very, very end of the movie, and there was no build up or lead to this.
Okay,
they just showed up at the very, very end.
Yeah, they did kind of throw all this at the end, but this was the whole idea of this was less them being the bad guys and more of him redeeming himself and kind of saving his country at the same time, because he sets up the next fight, and the next fight is him versus 4 of their champions, and they're at a poker table together, this whole federation, and they're basically saying they want to win their money back from the Hercules fight, so they think they picked their top guy from Japan, Tanaka. And then the 3 other guys, I don't even know where they got those guys. They got a boxer, They had some
a British
Scottish
boxer. They had a guy who did fencing, right?
Yep, but they said he was from Europe. And then the other guy with they didn't say. I thought the guy with the spear was from Scotland, which I don't know what a spear has to do with Scotland, but whatever.
I did not understand that.
It made no sense. But to be honest with you, so he has Tanaka invites him, the Japanese fighter. He invites him to have tea, and he wants to sit down and pick his brain. And they're talking, and he doesn't understand why he can't just fight him one-on-one, why he has to fight the four at once. And he says, why are you doing this? But I mean, frankly, when it goes down, he makes very short work of the first three guys.
Yeah.
I mean, the fights don't even last 2 minutes, even with weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I guess I don't know if that was him showing off or just trying to save face. I'm not really sure, but it really didn't matter because, I mean, literally, it was fed. The boxer he took out in like 6 moves.
Quick.
The spear fighting, he took that guy out in less than 10 moves. And that guy was just getting pissed. And I mean, he could have killed him like he showed, but basically just kind of said, okay, get off my stage. And then, like you said, the fencing, that lasted a few minutes or so, but it still was pretty quick. And it was almost like he was toying with that guy.
Yeah.
And then, so he gets Tanaka, and they start off, and Tanaka has like a traditional katana blade, Japanese sword. And he has the 3-way nunchucks. Don't
3
kill me on
staff,
this. Yeah, I don't know what that's called
staff.
exactly.
Yeah, 3-section staff.
Okay, 3-section staff. That is one weapon I've never got to try out or hold or even try to learn because, but I've always wanted to. I always thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I used to watch like watching them in tournaments compete with those.
They look like
it was something different.
They look like they'd be hard to do. Oh, I've seen it a couple times.
Yeah,
no, I never.
It's cool because you can swing them like nunchucks, but you can also make it like a bow almost if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And,
you know what, Angel? I haven't seen them in recent years. I saw them when I was still an underbelt coming up. You know, I haven't seen them recently.
A lot in the 90s.
Yeah.
Late 90s.
Okay.
Used to see them a lot. Early 2000s. Yeah, so Jet Li was very skilled with those. And there's one point where they end up switching weapons accidentally, of course. And he's very good with the sword, but the other guy was not good with the
3-section staff.
With the 3-section staff. So they end up, he stops the fight and gives them they switch weapons. Now I'm sorry. If you're at a disadvantage and I just fought 3 other people and I'm fighting for the honor, I would have let you keep that and whipped your ass.
Right.
But you know, he's just having fun. And
yeah, he's a different fighter compared to the beginning of the movie.
But the 2 guys betting on all this, they are freaking out. And so you know something's going on where they're plotting something. And so they focus in on this tea. And obviously I've seen this before, so I already knew it was going to happen. But they basically laced his tea, and he's unable to, like, he's seeing blurry. He's coughing up blood. Everybody wants him to stop the fight, but he basically says, it's in my system. There's nothing they can do about it. I'm going to finish this fight. And Tanaka tells him he should stop too. But he says, you know, I'm not going to take it easy on you, which I don't blame him. You know, he's got his own reputation, but so the fight continues. Obviously, it's not going well. And he falls down, and they go to count it out and tell Tanaka he's the winner. And Tanaka stops, picks him up, declares him the winner, and walks away. Which, of course, the 2 guys betting, who are now, they're out a whole lot more money, are pissed. But who wants to, if you're an honorable fighter, you're not going to win a fight that way. He wanted to fight him at his best. And I think deep down, after just fighting him in that first round, he knew that he was the better fighter.
Now, did this ending confuse you guys?
Why?
He went to heaven.
Really? Is that what you think too, Joe?
Yeah, he died. They
So
said
you mean,
he died.
yeah, they did say he died, but did Moon die too?
No, he was watching over her at the end.
But she was looking at him. So he
She was looking.
he has the force. He's a force ghost.
She was thinking about him.
Oh my goodness, that's
It was
a
just.
horrible ending. That was
It was
garbage.
a metaphor. It was a
How
metaphor.
are we supposed to know that? Because he was saying that he was going to go back to see her. He told us that in the movie. He said, "I'm going to go back and I'm going to see her and Grandma."
And he couldn't.
After
He
that
wanted
fight.
to. Of
So
course, he wanted
then,
to.
but
But
how
he
was she?
died.
Oh man, that was strange to me. That was strange because he goes. I thought that he somehow survived and then went back to her and was just in the
No,
field doing his form, and she just, I thought she walked up to him and was happy that he returned because she did
no,
not know that if he was going to return, and I thought that she was happy that he did return.
no. He had the glow. He was a
I,
ghost.
I, I didn't know
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was looking like that because he was by
The
in front of
moon.
the sun or whatever. No, I just thought that might have been the sun reflecting on him to make him look like that because she kind of walks up, she's running toward him and then stops and then starts crying and then it just ended. So I
It,
was like, oh, okay, well he made it back
but
to
they
see because,
showed that they said he died at 42 of poisoning.
but they didn't say how
Yeah.
old he was at that time, so we don't know how old he was.
So
So
he
You
that's
was
what
could
I'm
guess
poisoned
that
saying.
he was
again.
42.
Huh?
You can guess he was 42. He just got
How? You can't
poisoned.
guess this movie. We can't guess. We have to know. Like
Listen,
I can't guess.
Gene, respectfully, I ain't never heard of a motherfucker that got poisoned twice and lived.
Let me ask you this,
Never
Angel.
heard of
The
it.
last thing we saw him in the ring, was he on the ground or was he standing
Yes.
up?
No, he was on the
He
ground.
was not standing up. They picked him up. Get out of
They
here.
picked him up and then Tanaka left. Now when Tanaka left, was he standing up or did he fall back down?
He
No,
was
he was
not.
on the ground. All his people were around him,
Yeah, he
I
was
don't
crying
on the ground.
and
I don't
cheering for him.
I don't remember seeing that.
They were wiping the blood
Yeah.
from his face, and then you had the guy in the crowd. He was on his knees crying.
I didn't see any of that.
The whole
I
the
didn't
whole
see
crowd the whole crowd rushed the stage because they knew he was dying.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. From now
I'm
on,
over
when we
here.
pick our from now on when we pick our movies, we got to make sure we can watch the same movie.
Well,
I'm over here.
not only that,
I'm over here
still,
like,
we
damn,
know
did he
we
like crazy?
because we don't
No,
like
I
I
know
said,
what you're
like
talking about,
from the
but
writing point of view, that ending did make sense. Yes, they told us that he was poisoned. Yes, he said, "Oh, it's in my system now." Okay, but we saw him still get stood back up, and then later on we see him doing a form, you know, and then we
Yeah,
see
but
what's so
you
okay.
couldn't
So
tell that it was angelic. You couldn't tell that it was like angelic figure
like I
that
said,
he was.
I thought he was like on a hill just doing a form, and I thought the sun was setting behind him. Because what was the purpose of having Moon run up there? What
You
is the purpose
realize
of that?
it was dark, right?
No, I don't realize it was dark. No,
It was
I saw.
nighttime when he was doing his form.
it
So,
was nighttime.
like I said, what was the purpose of having her run up there and have her stand there looking in his
So
direction?
this was my thought. This was my thought, and I'm gonna be honest with you. This could be a stretch. This was my thought. The way he was glowing was as if he was the moon, and she was looking at the moon, crying. Like
She
obviously
can't
she's
look at
blind.
shit. She
I
can't. She can't look at shit.
All right. All right. All right.
I'm saying.
never mind.
I'm
Never mind.
saying.
Never mind. Never
So
mind.
that's what I'm saying. Like, so even if she's blind,
She's
exactly. So
she's running to
my thing
him in
was,
heaven.
she's okay. So she's blind. She can't see. Okay, by him being a physical body, physical person. Okay, if she ran up there and can kind of sense that he was there, I get that. Okay, now if he died, she didn't need to run up no hill to feel him. She should have felt him in her room or house or hut or whatever the hell she had. That part of the movie didn't make sense to me. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I was like, damn, did he die? Did he not die? Because I thought he came back to her to see her, like he said he was going to do. So the ending. That's why I said the ending. I didn't like the ending. All right. So that's the end of that movie. Jet Li's Fearless. What grade are you guys giving it?
I already told. I'm giving it an A.
Oh,
I enjoyed the movie a lot.
What about you, Angel?
B minus.
All right, I'm the bad guy. I'm giving it a C minus. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible. But it,
I think it's only a C minus because there's a lot of holes that you didn't know. That was the reason why.
A lot of
That's
a
the
lot
real
of
reason
holes.
why.
And then also with the subtitle, like I said, I had to watch it twice because the first time I was really lost. If we would have did this yesterday, like we were supposed to do, I would have flagged it down. This would have been an F all day for me. So I was like, this is not going to be fair. Joe said this was good. Jeff said it was good. Chris said it was good.
Chris said it was good. Yeah.
I was like, what am I missing? So I was like, I got to watch this again because something is not computing. Something's not working for me, so I had to watch it again. And I was
now
like,
I'm about to
put
that. See, now I'm about to put that in the group chat. I'm gonna ask Chris and Jeff, be like, do you guys remember the ending? Explain it just to see if we're all on the same page.
You guys love it, so you probably are. But for somebody who, to me, the ending was stupid.
Mind you, I don't even really like these types of movies, but it wasn't a bad movie. It was actually good. I'm not a big fan of these movies. I couldn't even watch Hero. I was the one that said I'm not watching this. Like I'm just done and over with. So
like I said, if this was Star Wars, it would have been fine. Yeah, he's a Force ghost. I get it, but this is real life. This is supposed to be real life. This is not mystical. This is. I just wasn't feeling that ending. All right, Angel, you said you wanted to pick the next movie. What are we watching?
So let's do the Street Fighter Online series. Depending on how we watch it, we could do kind of like how we do Cobra Kai. We could do episodes 1 and 2. Or I know on Amazon, I think they collided them, so make them like basically a movie where just all the episodes are just running congruently, all in one.
How long are the episodes individually, and how long is it if as just one complete?
I think roughly individually they're like 45 minutes around there. In terms of all together, I just saw on Amazon that they could put it all together. I didn't even know
how many episodes is it?
I think there's
2 seasons.
Two seasons?
Wait, there's 2. Yeah, but they're not 20 episode seasons though. They're not even 13 episode seasons.
No. I said that because we're not running
6.
it together. We're not running it together then. I mean,
no.
That'd be too long. Okay.
No.
All right.
So they're like 6 episodes a season, if that.
Okay, so we can break it down and do episodes 1 and 2 then.
Yeah.
All right. You guys got any closing remarks?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
All right, cool. Well, everybody stay safe, stay strong. We'll holler at you next week, and I will play our music.
Disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.